You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Here's a look at our news headlines this morning. A huge weekend in the books at Golden Gate Park after a weekend of performances by Dead and Company. Tens of thousands packed inside the Polo Fields for 3 days, celebrating the Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary. Now the city is gearing up for another series of concerts in the Outside Lands, which begins this Friday. And we caught up to lots of Deadheads heading home after the busy weekend. Our photojournalist was there this morning at SFO. We could find and see a lot of Deadheads still rocking their merch in line. Firefighters in Lake County have stopped forward progress of a wildfire north of the community of Clear Lake. Cal Fire says the fire is about 40% contained. It started yesterday afternoon, quickly exploding in size. At one point, more than 3,000 people were told to evacuate. Firefighters say weather conditions did not help.
Well, we did have a little bit of an alignment with some wind and some slope, and the fire was exhibiting moderate to erratic fire behavior. So that allowed for that kind of the rapid growth of this fire as we got up over 300 acres.
Cause of that fire is still under investigation. Wildfire on the Central Coast threatening hundreds of buildings. The Gifford fire burning near the border of Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties. It has scorched more than 100 square miles since it started Friday afternoon. Dozens of people in both counties have been told to evacuate. Officials say 3 people have been injured. Democratic lawmakers in Texas have left the state to avoid voting on redistricting maps drawn by President Trump. If approved, those maps would add 5 more Republican-leading seats to the House, adding ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Republican Governor Greg Abbott threatened to remove the Democrats from their seats and said in a statement, "This truancy ends now. The derelict Democrat House members must return to Texas and be in attendance when the House reconvenes on 3 p.m. on Monday." Many of them went to Illinois or New York.
We're not here to play political games.
Never, ever, ever underestimate the will of the American people when it comes to protecting and preserving our democracy and our voting rights.
The standoff comes as President Trump tries to avoid a repeat of what happened during his first term when Republicans lost the House. Now let's get a check of our forecast with First Alert meteorologist Jessica Burtz telling us starting to feel a little bit more like summer. Hey, Jess.
We have warmer weather on tap for us as we head into this week's forecast. Today, we're sitting in the upper 60s in San Francisco, low 70s over in Oakland, 70s and 80s widespread throughout our inland areas, and we're close to the 90s today, all the way down into Antioch. Now, as we head into the next couple days, get used to this warm up because it's sticking around. This summer-like weather forecast, it's finally here, but on top of that, we're still dealing with strong winds. I mean, earlier this morning, we're up to around 25, 30 miles per hour when it comes to winds pushing in from offshore. It's only getting stronger into the evening hours tonight in places like Bodega Bay, close to 40 mile per hour winds around 5 o'clock, 20 to 25 mile per hour winds in our inland areas. But that's only one part of our weather story. Now, of course, windy conditions, low relative humidity, warm weather like we're seeing right around the corner, all of those factor together, and those are key ingredients when it comes to fire weather conditions. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as we head into this week. But the Climate Prediction Center is showing above normal conditions for us here in the Bay Area as we head into the next 6 to 10 days. Well, what I could show you behind me is the next 7, and we're already starting to see that warm up significantly. I mean, we're in the mid 80s today throughout most of our inland spots. We jump to the 90s as we head into our midweek forecast. And just when you think, okay, well, maybe we'll cool, no, we're going to hold on tight to 90s as we head into this weekend too. Friday, Saturday, sunny skies, low relative humidity. As we head over into the Bay forecast, we're going to notice that warm up too. I mean, even along the coast, we're going to see sunnier skies as we dive into this weekend. We're also going to see temperatures jump from the low 60s to the upper 60s and low 70s. And that's noticeable along the bay. It's beautiful weather as we head into this week. Just be really careful when it comes to any outdoor burning. Relative humidity is low right now, so you want to be very mindful of that. And heading into this weekend, it's great weather to get out there and do a nice hike.
Well, the warning period is about to end for drivers caught by speed cameras in San Francisco. The city is set to mail out its first citations. That will happen tomorrow. 33 cameras are spread across the city's busiest intersections and streets. Fines range from $50 to $500. That pilot program launched back in March. In the first week, cameras caught about 250 speeding drivers a day on average. Those numbers dropped by about 30% in the first 6 weeks. Now the 60-day grace period is coming to an end. Beginning tomorrow, anyone caught going more than 11 miles an hour over the speed limit will get a ticket. And it's been more than a year since neighbors in San Francisco's Mission District sued the city for not doing more to stop sex workers on their streets. The city installed these barriers to try to keep the workers out, but neighbors say all that did was move the sex workers further up the block. Kara St. Cyr spoke to neighbors in the Mission, frustrated by what they say is a lack of progress by the city.
I would be concerned if I had kids walking around.
18th and Shotwell has seen a lot of changes, but Camilla says the prostitution issue remains the same.
Going to work, if you leave very early, you might see someone having sex, like out in the street, just like that.
18th and Shotwell is a hotspot for sex work and drug use. The city installed these barricades on the street last year after residents sued for what they call inaction.
The area that was closed is from 21st all the way to 19th.
Ayman Farhat, one of the residents who sued the city, said the blockades have helped with traffic, loud music, and some sex work.
I think one has to look at things at their entirety.
But they haven't completely stopped the problem. He says other residents complain that it just moved further up the street.
Don't think that we should just say like there's nothing has been done. Yes, there is an improvement, but is there room for progress? Absolutely.
Farhat says there's more the city can do to address the problem. Off camera, other residents told us more lights and law enforcement patrol could help. SFPD started a Dear John program in an attempt to crack down. The program sends letters and pictures to addresses of people believed to be soliciting sex work. We reached out to SFPD for comment on the success of the program, but got no response in time for our broadcast. While the issue remains close to home for Camilla, she doesn't think the solution will happen overnight.
I really hope something gets done by the city to assure like these girls are safe.
We also reached out to the mayor's office for a response. They deferred to SFPD. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, thousands of Deadheads crowded San Francisco for a celebration. We're going to hear from business owners who say the concert series is breathing new life into the city. Plus, we'll introduce you to the first woman to lead Santa Clara County Parks Department, how she hopes to pave a path in the community that she serves.
I would love to see more females in these roles. And so my hope is that women and girls see themselves reflected in the folks that are doing these jobs.
As we head into the next couple days, we're gearing up for a nice warm up, and we're noticing it already in our inland areas. Upper 80s today, turning into upper 80s tomorrow, and then suddenly we're talking about 90s, kind of back and forth as we head into the rest of this week's forecast with sunny skies, low relative humidity, and let's not forget the winds. We definitely notice it for our friends along the coast and along the bay too. Places like San Francisco this afternoon could see gusts up to around 30 miles per hour, Bodega Bay even stronger, but at least we get this nice warm up that feels a lot more summer-like as we head into the rest of this week's forecast.
Well, the Grateful Dead 60th anniversary weekend has come to an end, but merchants are adding up the money it brought to their businesses. According to SF Travel, San Francisco is expected to welcome nearly 300,000 more visitors this year compared to last year. And visitors are spending a projected increase of $150 million. Just last month, we reported a drop-off in local tourism, but some claimed it was because of the trade war and the anxiety around immigration. We spoke to business owners who were feeling that pain.
This year so far, it's about 35% down. What was really shocking was June and this few days of July, the bottom has fallen. Basically, we're 50% down. We're a little bit worried. We can probably weather the summer, but in the wintertime, if this is the summer, what's going to happen in the winter, that's what scares us more.
But the celebration at Golden Gate Park over the weekend provided a boost for hotels and the hospitality industry. The three-day concert series drew tens of thousands of fans from around the world. Don Lin has more on the dollars that came with the Dead.
Over the last 3 days, we've talked to Deadheads from all over the country, all here to celebrate the Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary.
We're from New York City.
I'm from Nashville.
I came from Denver, Colorado.
And you?
came from Florida via West Virginia.
We're from South Florida, Boca Raton.
Outside the San Francisco Hilton, we met these two deadheads from Fairbanks, Alaska.
And flying down from Fairbanks wasn't cheap. You know, we're 4 nights here at the hotel, you know, and then being at the show itself.
Eating out.
Jeff Estenson and Lacey Forsythe say they've already spent several $1,000s on this trip.
It's the 60th anniversary, so it's not going to happen many more times.
If you're a deadhead, being back here in the epicenter of where it all started, that's impactful, that's important.
Deadheads are devoted and say they're more than willing to travel for these shows. Both the San Francisco Hilton and the Fairmont Hotel were packed with deadheads on Sunday morning.
4 nights.
Flying out tomorrow.
Flying out tomorrow, back to reality.
Oh, they're definitely worth it. You know, we have a great time. It gives you a good feeling.
And it's a good feeling for San Francisco's economy, too. Michelle Heston is the spokesperson for the San Francisco Fairmont Hotel.
Our hotel is sold out, as are a number of hotels in the city. So bravo, San Francisco.
With so many deadheads at the Fairmont, the staff added Grateful Dead flags at the entrance and psychedelic lights to the lobby staircase.
So we've kept our bars open as well, including, of course, the famed Tonga Room, which is located in the hotel. And we've extended those hours throughout the weekend and again tonight so that we can keep the party going.
The Hotel Council of San Francisco says this kind of economic jolt is just what the industry needed after 5 challenging years during and after the pandemic.
The Hilton is open, as you can see. This is the biggest hotel in California. There are 3,000 rooms in this hotel, and they're pretty much all full.
This Hilton remains under bank receivership after its previous owner defaulted on a loan. But city leaders see this weekend as a sign of recovery.
For every $100 spent in the hotels, $200 are spent outside of the hotels.
The mayor's office says when Dead & Company had their last concert at Oracle Park in 2023, the events generated an estimated $31 million for San Francisco's economy. As for Jeff, he says the experience is worth every penny.
It's just good to see, you know, the local community benefit from this.
Outside Lands will bring even more music lovers to Golden Gate Park this weekend. The 3-day music festival starts Friday. Some of the headliners include Doja Cat, Tyler the Creator, Vampire Weekend, and Hozier. Near the Dead Company and concerts, police found a trailer full of nitrous oxide. Police released these images of what they say is 100 tanks full of gas. It was found near Fulton Street and 35th Avenue outside Golden Gate Park Saturday night. Police arrested 32-year-old Thomas Siderio of Philadelphia. Tri-Valley Community expanding access to services for those experiencing mental health or substance abuse issues. A new triage center opens its doors in Pleasanton today. It's located on Serpentine Lane and being promoted as an alternative to jail. It's part of a partnership between Horizon Treatment Services, community groups, and Alameda County. And a school district shakeup in San Jose just weeks before students returned to school. The superintendent of the Allen Brock Union School District was fired without explanation. The district appointed Assistant Superintendent Sandra Garcia to serve as acting superintendent over the weekend. The board abruptly fired Superintendent German Serta Friday night. The district hired him in September of last year. He oversaw the district as it closed 6 schools in an effort to close a $20 million budget gap. This marks the district's second leadership change in just over a year. In a statement, the board president thanked Mr. Serta for his service to the Allen Brock Schools community. Now to our state's national parks, where one South Bay county is marking a huge milestone in closing the gender gap. According to the National Park Service, only about 37% of park rangers across the country are female. Now, Santa Clara County Parks has appointed their first ever female chief park ranger since they instituted their first academy back in 1971. Newly appointed chief park ranger Ali Henry tells our Suji Nam that it's her mission to increase those numbers in her workforce.
Ali Henry lives every day to serve her mission of protecting her community in Santa Clara County.
15 years. I've worked for the Parks Department, and 10 of those have been as a park ranger.
She first put on a uniform back in 2011, working as a Park Services attendant, before working full-time as a park ranger for a decade.
Every single day is different. So You never know what you're going to get when you come on duty for the day for the shift.
And now she has more responsibilities under her belt as the county's first female chief park ranger. A momentous achievement for Henry and for Santa Clara County Parks as they're pushing to hire more female park rangers.
When I first started out as a ranger working in this field, there were several females, but definitely our program was dominated by males. And in public safety, that tends to be, there is a theme there.
She now oversees 50 park rangers, of which about 15% are women. Henry says one of her goals as chief is to diversify her workforce.
Recruitment really a priority for me, and to recruit in a variety of locations and places. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to contact.
Joe Aguilera, the deputy director of Santa Clara Parks and Recreation, appointed Henry as chief.
Chief Henry, how's everything looking in parks today?
He says she is an inspiration, especially for women who want to join the public safety workforce.
This is truly representative, not just the department's values, but really the county as a whole, their values, right? And their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Robert 1 on Tech 3. I would love to see more females in roles in public safety, specifically park rangers. In these roles. And so my hope is that young women and girls see themselves reflected in the folks that are doing these jobs.
Paving the way for many more female park rangers and chief park rangers in the years to come.
And this is no small responsibility. Santa Clara County Park Rangers are responsible for law enforcement within the parks, as well as wildfire prevention efforts and emergency response. Still ahead, we're going to hear from a man who terrorized women all across the Bay Area.
I ordered them out of the tent. I told them I had a gun. I believe I tied them both.
The exclusive confessions from a convicted kidnapper.
The National Weather Service hasn't issued any advisories when it comes to fire weather conditions. We just have to be mindful of it. No outdoor burning, being smart about the fact that it's summer, it's hot, it's dry. I mean, you take a look at these temperatures, we're only warming up more and more. We're back into the 90s by Wednesday. We're holding on tight to 90s heading into this weekend's forecast. That's throughout our inland areas. You make your way over into the Bay, well, we're also noticing that warm up too. I mean, San Francisco today in the 60s for the most part. We warm up into the 70s as we head into the next couple of days. Upper 70s by Friday into areas like Oakland with sunny skies. So like I said, now the National Weather Service hasn't issued any fire weather concerns or advisories, but we are keeping a very close eye on critical conditions, whether relative humidity may drop, weather temperatures may rise a bit more, winds get stronger. We'll keep all of that informed, or we'll inform you with all of that. And for now, I'm going to send it over to you.
Well, a decade after a Bay Area couple was falsely accused of a kidnapping hoax, we are hearing from the confession of the man now in prison for that crime. In 2015, Vallejo police accused Denise Huskins and her boyfriend, Aaron Quinn, of lying to them about her kidnapping and rape. But it was all true. Their story chronicled in a Netflix special called American Nightmare. After the ordeal, Denise and Aaron turned into amateur sleuths and helped get their attacker to admit to similar crimes. CBS California investigative correspondent Julie Watts has the exclusive recordings of the confessions.
You're about to hear never-before-released cold case confessions recorded during recent in-custody interviews with Matthew Mueller, the serial predator who kidnapped Denise Huskins and has now confessed to decades of similar home invasions and sexual assaults.
We're back in Tahoe, not far from where this all started. What's it like for you to be in this room this close to where you were held hostage?
Yeah. At a law enforcement conference in South Lake Tahoe.
It's bittersweet to be able to be here and reclaim this as something positive.
The woman once discredited by authorities is now helping to train them, alongside her now husband, Aaron Quinn, and the two officers who finally believed them.
She's dead.
Together, this team helped solve at least 4 cold case crimes this year. Crimes that may have been solved a decade ago if only someone had listened sooner.
They did not come into your house and kidnap her and take her for ransom.
March 2015, intruders did blindfold and drug the couple in their Vallejo home. then kidnapped, raped, and held Denise for ransom while police falsely accused Aaron of killing her.
Okay, how do I make it so you look like a monster?
Instead of searching for the kidnapper,
it is Mr. Quinn and Ms. Huskins that owes this community an apology.
When the kidnapper released Denise, police accused the couple of orchestrating a hoax.
The members of our community are safe.
They weren't.
The real tragedy is now we know there's 2 other families that Mueller terrorized and attacked.
2 months later, their attackers struck again in nearby Dublin, California, leading police to Matthew Mueller's Tahoe cabin, where he held Denise captive. 1 month later, Denise and Aaron were finally vindicated. Mueller was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison, but the nightmare wasn't over.
At one point, he laid down on the bed next to me and then just started telling me how he...
2015 interrogation recordings revealed Denise warned investigators a decade ago that Mueller told her there were other victims.
Like you said, they've probably done this before.
But for 10 years, they couldn't get anyone to investigate. Then, last year's most-watched Netflix docuseries chronicled Denise and Aaron's American nightmare. And small-town Seaside Police Chief Nick Borges reached out to them on Instagram.
Denise was first to respond back to me.
What began as a conversation soon became a mission to bring closure to Mueller's other victims.
But I remember her saying, but we're not law enforcement, what do we do? And that's kind of where I said, well, let me try to help.
So, working with Denise, Aaron, and Misty, he wrote directly to Matthew Mueller. For the first time, we're showing you Mueller's cold case confessions from behind bars, limited excerpts to protect victim privacy and ongoing investigations. First, Mueller confessed in a letter to 2 home invasion attempted rapes in Santa Clara County in 2009. Police questioned Mueller at the time, but said they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Despite similarities to Denise's case 7 years later, they never reopened those cold cases or retested Mueller's DNA.
It's fair to say that there are things that we would do differently and do better today. That's because of the Quinns.
This year, Santa Clara County DA Jeff Rosen finally tested Mueller's DNA. When Mueller was finally sentenced to 2 life terms for those 16-year-old crimes,
it came the week of the 10-year anniversary of our kidnapping. So it was very wow, just looking back and all that we had gone through and everything that it took to get to this place.
And that was just the beginning. Next, Mueller confessed to an unreported 2015 home invasion robbery in Contra Costa County, just 2 weeks after he released Denise and months before he was arrested.
Tied them up, went to the son's room, woke him up.
In recorded confessions, Mueller describes how he convinced the family to keep the crime a secret, threatening his accomplices would find and harm their kids.
There's very good reason if they didn't report it.
Contra Costa DA Dinah Becton stresses this one wasn't a cold case.
We had no knowledge that they had suffered this horrible crime.
They found the victims still living in fear from a crime that wouldn't have even been investigated without Denise and Aaron and the officers who finally believed them. Mueller got another life sentence, but his confessions didn't end there.
One of the most striking things is finding out how young he was when he started.
Mueller describes in chilling detail how he ambushed a couple camping in Sacramento County back in 1993 when he was still a teen.
I ordered them out of the tent. I told them I had a gun. I believe I tied them both.
Last month, Sacramento County DA Tin Ho secured a 4th life sentence for Mueller. The culmination of 6 crimes, more than a dozen victims, 32 years of unanswered questions and justice delayed. But thanks to Denise and Aaron, they were not forgotten. Denise and Aaron are now working with law enforcement to sponsor legislation that they hope will address some of the failings highlighted by their case. For instance, Denise's rape kit wasn't even tested until this year. They'd also like to see every officer get better training on how to work with victims and suspects to help solve crimes.
And last week, the California District Attorneys Association honored Denise and Aaron as their witnesses of the year. Coming up our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, tens of thousands of Californians are waiting to find out if they'll lose their food benefits because of the president's spending bill. The potential impact on Bay Area families and the organizations working to help them.
SNAP is the most effective anti-hunger program, and this is the largest cut in the history of the program.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, thanks for staying with us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Here's another look at our news headlines. A huge weekend in the books at Golden Gate Park after a weekend performance of Dead & Company. Tens of thousands packed the polo fields for 3 days, celebrating the Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary. Caught lots of Deadheads at SFO heading home this morning after the busy weekend. Now the city's gearing up for another series of concerts for Outside Lands, which begins this Friday. The warning period is about to end for drivers caught by speeding cameras in the San Francisco area. The city is set to mail out its first citations tomorrow. 33 cameras are spread across the city's busiest intersections and streets. Fines range from $50 to $500. Anyone caught going more than 11 miles an hour over the speed limit will get a ticket. Democratic lawmakers in Texas have left the state to avoid voting on redistricting maps drawn by President Trump. If approved, those maps would add 5 more Republican-leading seats to the House ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Republican Governor Greg Abbott has threatened to remove the Democrats from their seats. Their standoff comes as President Trump tries to avoid a repeat of what happened during his first term when Republicans lost the House. Okay, let's get another check of our forecast with our First Alert meteorologist, Jessica Birch. Hey, Jess.
We have warmer weather on tap for us as we head into this week's forecast. Today, we're sitting in the upper 60s in San Francisco, low 70s over in Oakland, 70s and 80s widespread throughout our inland areas, and we're close to the 90s today, all the way down into Antioch. Now, as we head into the next couple days, get used to this warm up because it's sticking around. The summer-like weather forecast, it's finally here, but on top of that, we're still dealing with strong winds. I mean, earlier this morning, we're up to around 25, 30 miles per hour when it comes to winds pushing in from offshore. It's only getting stronger into the evening hours tonight in places like Bodega Bay, close to 40 mile per hour winds around 5 o'clock, 20 to 25 mile per hour winds in our inland areas. But that's only one part of our weather story. Now, of course, windy conditions, low relative humidity, warm weather like we're seeing right around the corner, all of those factor together, and those are key ingredients when it comes to fire weather conditions. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as we head into this week. But the Climate Prediction Center is showing above normal conditions for us here in the Bay Area as we head into the next 6 to 10 days. Well, what I could show you behind me is the next 7, and we're already starting to see that warm up significantly. I mean, we're in the mid-80s today throughout most of our inland spots. We jump to the 90s as we head into our midweek forecast. And just when you think, okay, well, maybe we'll cool, no, we're going to hold on tight to 90s as we head into this weekend too. Friday, Saturday, sunny skies, low relative humidity. As we head over into the Bay forecast, we're going to notice that warm up too. I mean, even along the coast, we're going to see sunnier skies as we dive into this weekend. We're also going to see temperatures jump from the low 60s to the upper 60s and low 70s. And that's noticeable along the bay. It's beautiful weather as we head into this week. Just be really careful when it comes to any outdoor burning. Relative humidity is low right now, so you want to be very mindful of that. And heading into this weekend, it's great weather to get out there and do a nice hike.
Well, 2 people are dead, 6 others injured after a shooting after party in Los Angeles. Police say the shooting happened around 1 a.m. One man died at the scene, and a woman later died at the hospital. Police say someone was arrested earlier in the night in the area for having a firearm. Investigators are trying to figure out if the shooter is somehow connected to that incident. No arrests have been made. President Trump says he will nominate a new commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the coming days. He fired the previous commissioner, Dr. Erica McDefer, after she issued weak job numbers. Her report said the economy produced 73,000 jobs in July, and also revised downward the amount of employment growth in May and June. Trump said without evidence that she had manipulated the numbers for political purposes. Meantime, many people who rely on food assistance are wondering if they'll lose out on their benefits. The massive budget bill signed by President Trump is set to make significant cuts to the SNAP program, formerly known as food stamps. According to the California Budget and Policy Center, about 175,000 residents in the Bay Area are at risk of losing those benefits. Max Darrow spoke with a mother who relies on that assistance to feed her family.
After another long night shift,
Soy janitor en la noche.
working as an overnight janitor, Deanna is back to work with the full-time job that gives her purpose, parenting. She's doing some prep work for tonight's dinner.
A mis niñas les gusta con arroz.
She and her husband both work to support their 3 kids, who are 5, 10, and 17, who all live together in this small San Jose apartment. But even with the both of them working,
Es difícil.
it's difficult, she says, to pay for basic necessities. So, like many families, hers is buoyed by SNAP, known as CalFresh locally. Food stamps help her buy the essentials.
Todo tipo de frutas, verduras.
Fruits, veggies, and meat, so she can cook every meal. Going out to eat isn't really an option.
Si yo no tuviera CalFresh,
She says if she didn't have food assistance, she'd have to get another job just so her family could live paycheck to paycheck. And like many SNAP recipients across America right now, that thought is top of mind for Deanna.
That was a good one.
The Trump administration's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which GOP lawmakers passed by a narrow margin, including a tie-breaking vote in the Senate by Vice President J.D. Vance.
The bill as amended is passed.
Slashes billions of dollars in federal funding for SNAP. Over time, it will shift the bulk of the financial responsibility to individual states. The Trump administration says SNAP has failed those who truly need it, and the move will eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. However, Leslie Bacho, the CEO of Second Harvest of Silicon Valley, says otherwise.
SNAP is the most effective anti-hunger program, and this is the largest cut in the history of the program.
Bacho says more than 100,000 households in Santa Clara and San Mateo counties receive SNAP benefits. If these benefits are, in fact, cut, how do you think that will affect the food bank?
Well, we know that when SNAP benefits are cut, our lines get longer.
And the timing couldn't be worse for food banks, currently trying to do more with less to serve a historic level of need. Bacho says Second Harvest currently serves about 500,000 people a month, from those living paycheck to paycheck to children to seniors on fixed incomes.
It's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. It's impossible to replace this kind of federal funding. I mean, we need real policy change, but until that happens, the burden is going to fall to the philanthropic sector. The burden is going to fall to all of us to decide how to take care of our neighbors.
Nothing has changed yet. Deanna says she's nervous and has a lot of questions.
Sí estoy preocupada, pero
However, she says she knows SNAP's future is out of her control. She hopes her situation doesn't change. But if it does, she says she'll do what she needs to do to ensure her family has food in the fridge.
¿Quieres te lo parto?
And in the present moment, she'll remain grateful for the status quo.
Second Harvest is urging people who are currently eligible to still apply for and continue using their SNAP benefits. They have a multilingual team who can answer questions you may have about the changes moving forward. Up next, the Golden State Valkyries may have been on the road, but their practice facility still went to good use. How to give fans a chance to compete and connect in a welcoming space.
Like, we've all been there trying to play with dudes and like dudes who are super bro-y, and I think like that tends to really tie women on a court together.
As we head into the next couple days, we're gearing up for a nice warm-up, and we're noticing it already in our inland areas. Upper 80s today, turning into upper 80s tomorrow, and then suddenly we're talking about 90s. Kind of back and forth as we head into the rest of this week's forecast with sunny skies, low relative humidity, and let's not forget the winds. We definitely notice it for our friends along the coast and along the bay too. Places like San Francisco this afternoon could see gusts up to around 30 miles per hour, Bodega Bay even stronger, but at least we get this nice warm-up that feels a lot more summer-like as we head into the rest of this week's forecast.
Well, we're counting down to the Niners' first preseason game this weekend. The Niners taking on the Denver Broncos at Levi's Stadium. That game airs live on KPIX and streams on Paramount Plus this Saturday. Kickoff is at 5:30. And the 49ers made Brock Purdy the highest paid player, get that out, in franchise history this summer. But who will be throwing the ball to this season? Vern Glenn explains.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
Hey, the 49ers could be thin at receiver going into the regular season. Deebo Samuel is in Washington, and Brandon Ayuk is still recovering from a torn ACL. That could mean a big opportunity for second-year wideout Ricky Pearsall, who has looked good in camp so far. Pearsall missed the first half of his rookie season as he recovered from a gunshot incident in San Francisco. That, thankfully, is behind him. The 24-year-old had a video game analogy for his growing confidence.
Sometimes
it just doesn't come your way, and that was kind of happening in the middle of the season. And towards the end of the season, when I was getting a bigger role, I started seeing the targets come my direction. It's continue building up that confidence. It's kind of like in video games, and you get your little takeover badge. That's what it feels like in the middle of the game.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
And CBS News Bay Area is the home of the Niners preseason football. Again, it starts this Saturday, August 9th. Kickoff is at 5:30 p.m. Now to the WNBA and the Valkyries. They return home after going 3-2 on the road, but Lady Luck wasn't on their side in Las Vegas. Golden State went into last night's game against the Aces without 3 key players, including all-star forward Kayla Thornton. Vegas had a 25-point lead at halftime, ended up cruising to a 101-77 win. Golden State's record now drops to 14-14.
This is an interesting time for you guys because you get to play this team back-to-back. How are you looking at film? How are you going to adjust the game plan going into Wednesday?
Yeah, no really big adjustment. It's more like we got to get our energy back. So I said, hey, let's get home. Let's get back into our own beds. And now you guys, the recovery for this turnaround has got to be really, really quick.
And while the Valkyries were on their long road trip, their practice facility got some good use. Kelsey Thorne takes us to the Sephora Performance Center in Oakland to show us how.
Have you ever wanted a chance to play your favorite sport on the actual court where your idols practice every day? Well, a lucky group of Valkyries fans are getting the chance to do exactly that this season.
It's awesome. It's like you're breathing holy air.
Lauren Bond is a Valkyries diehard who comes from a long line of basketball-obsessed people.
Our parents played, our grandparents played, yeah, and then me and my sister both played at Berkeley High, and then did a bunch of like intramurals and also women's tournaments.
In partnership with Kaiser Permanente, the Valkyries invited Lauren, her sister, and close to 100 other lucky women to participate in an open gym session at the Valkyries Sephora Performance Center.
I think it's super cool, like being able to like step my foot on the court that these players are on. Like, you don't really get to do that often.
Players of all skill levels were invited to participate. Yasmin Ramirez is a student at USF and currently plays on a club team there.
It's super fun and getting to meet new people. I'm super excited, and to play ball, of course.
The goal, to give players a chance to both compete and connect with each other in a welcoming environment. Lauren Bond told me that's huge.
Like, we've all been there trying to play with dudes, and like dudes who are super broy and don't want to let you have space on the court and like make you prove yourself over and over again. And I think like that tends to really tie women on a court together. Like, I already just met like 3 people today, introduced ourselves cold, who were super nice.
The hope is to eventually open these sessions up to the public fully next season. Lauren told me she'd love to come back. Her goal this night, though, to get back into the game she's always loved and, of course, come out of it unscathed.
I'm telling everyone.
And the Valkyries will have a chance at revenge against the Aces on Wednesday. They'll be back at Chase Center. You can watch the game on Pix Plus 44 Cable 12. Our pregame coverage starts at 6:30. Coming up, we'll introduce you a naturalist from the North Bay who is using high-tech trail cameras to teach researchers in Kenya how to better protect the world around them.
I wanted to know what do they do, what are they used for, and out of curiosity of the camera traps, I became an environmentalist.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
The National Weather Service hasn't issued any advisories when it comes to fire weather conditions. We just have to be mindful of it. No outdoor burning, being smart about the fact that it's summer, it's hot, it's dry. I mean, you take a look at these temperatures, we're only warming up more and more. We're back into the 90s by Wednesday. We're holding on tight to 90s heading into this weekend's forecast. That's throughout our inland areas. You make your way over into the Bay, well, we're also noticing that warm up too. I mean, San Francisco today in the 60s for the most part. We warm up into the 70s as we head into the next couple days. Upper 70s by Friday into areas like Oakland with sunny skies. So like I said, now the National Weather Service hasn't issued any fire weather concerns or advisories, but we are keeping a very close eye on critical conditions. Whether relative humidity might drop, weather temperatures may rise a bit more, winds get stronger. We'll keep all of that informed, or we'll inform you with all of that. And for now, I'm going to send it over to you.
Well, a Bay Area naturalist just returned from a trip to Kenya, where he and his wife are inspiring a group of students eager to learn more about their environment. He's teaching them wildlife camera trapping. Kenny Choi has more on their mission.
Setting up camera traps in the wilderness from Mount Tamalpais to Kenya has given Peter Bardo an extra tool.
Nice and tight. Yeah, good job.
To do what he loves.
It's tied to what I love, which is, keeping wild animals alive and safe in their own habitat.
He and his wife recently embarked on a journey to Daraja Academy, a free boarding school for underserved girls in Nanyuki, Kenya, where he taught them to set up cameras, monitor, and document data.
We've gotten the first 2 primates they've ever gotten. We got a vervet monkey and a troop of olive baboon. So it's just getting started.
Tracking wildlife, population sizes, and species interacting near the school campus has piqued some of the students' curiosity. Shakira Mwenda first learned about camera trapping at Daraja.
I wanted to know, what do they do? What are they used for? And out of curiosity of the camera traps, I became an environmentalist.
I grew up in an environment where I saw people polluting the environment. I saw people polluting water, air, and that's always made me to come out with a solution that I can impact them in the future.
Shakira and Caroline just finished their internships at the renowned Impala Research Center, jointly operated by Princeton University and the Smithsonian.
Hopefully, this will be an option for the girls going forward on a career, working with wildlife conservation or being a safari leader or a bird guide.
Bardo hopes students will learn more about native vultures, which are often killed, Bardo says, by intentional lead poisoning. Other wildlife can also be seen as the enemy.
I'm hoping that this program will help, and so far it has, change that. They understand how animals, what their place in the world is and why they do certain things.
It's one step for this environmental steward, doing what he can to protect nature and inspiring others to do the same.
Bardo is a certified California naturalist. Daraja Academy was founded by educators from the San Francisco Bay Area. Its nonprofit education fund is based in San Rafael. As part of Transgender History Month, we're highlighting some remarkable people in the Bay Area. They include Amy Schneider, who has become one of the most recognizable faces of the transgender community. The former software engineer gained wide attention for what she did in the middle of her 40-game win streak on the game show Jeopardy! During those appearances in 2021, she came out as a transgender woman. Her game show victories garnered more than $1 million in prize money, but Schneider says the streak brought much more than just financial security.
Ever since then, I have really not worried about, my appearance or anything else. I dress for myself and I look how I want to look, not how I think I have to appeal to other people. To know that I have been able to do something, even kind of inadvertently, to make trans people happy, to help them, to give them some comfort in whatever struggles they're going through, is just incredibly meaningful, and it's something that I never thought would happen in my life.
Schneider continues to use her platform to speak out on transgender issues, including at a San Francisco event last week, supporting LGBTQ+ entrepreneurs. Kenny Choi brings us her full story tonight at 5 on our evening edition. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back with your First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.